Hello guys, it's Miss Raymond again, and we are going to do a little math lesson today about finding the surface area of rectangular prisms. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about what is surface area. Okay, you guys have practiced finding area previously, area of rectangles and area of triangles, but now we're talking about surface area of rectangular prisms. So, which is a 3D object, so it's a little different. So the surface area of a solid is the sum of the areas of all of its faces, because remember it is a three-dimensional object. So let's see what that means. Okay, so when we are talking about determining the surface area of rectangular prisms, then we want to look at a two-dimensional representation of a solid, which is known as a net, okay, to find the surface area of the solid. So surface area is always going to be measured in square units, okay. Here is an example of when we talk about a net of a rectangular prism. So here, as you can see, this is your rectangular prism, right? There's the base. Here is what we call the width, the length, and the height, okay? And so if you were to unfold it, as you can see in this second picture, if you're unfolding it and you flatten it, this is what it would look like, okay? And you can kind of see how the top and the bottom correspond. This is the pink part, right? And then here's your blue, here are your sides, and then here's your green, which is your back, and then your front, okay? And so they've just labeled it. This would be width, this area would be width, this would be width, this would be length, this would be length, and this would be height. Okay, so this is one way of looking at the surface area of a solid, which is finding the sum of the areas of all of the faces. So this is one way you can do it, but that involves a little bit more math and a little bit more calculation. So we're going to look at it in a little bit more detail, okay? So this is giving you an example to show you how this would work. So you can see our rectangular prism is 4 inches by 7 inches by 3 inches, okay? So they created a net, they unfolded it and flattened it and created a net. So you can see right here, here's your 4 inches, right? Here's the blue side, here's your other side, here's your top, right? And your bottom, and that would measure 7 inches because it's the same length as this part, right? Which is your front and your back, the green. So you can see it all together. So what they did was they took the top and they multiplied 7 times 4 right here, right, which gives you 28. Then they multiplied the bottom, again 7 times 4, which gives you 28. Then they multiplied the front, 7 times 3, which gave you 21. And then the back, again, 7 times 3 is 21 because they're the same size. And then they took the side, okay, and they multiplied 4 times 3 and got 12, and then the other side 4 times 3, which gives you 12. So you can see where you could take, right, all these numbers and you could add them up. So the area of the top, 28, plus the area of the bottom, which is 28, plus the area of the front, which is 21, plus the area of the back, which is 21, right, plus the area of the side, which is 12, and the area of the other side, which is 12. So if you take all of that, you add that up, that gives you 122 square inches, okay? So that would be your surface area. Now, that I know that involves a lot of multiplication and a lot of adding. So there is a different, more simple way to figure this out, okay? So I'm going to show you that. So another way to find the area, and so you can instead use the formula for surface area. So S represents surface area. So instead you can multiply 2 times the length times the width, okay, because there's 2 of them, right, plus 2 times the length times the height. So here's your front and your back, right? Plus 2 times your width times your height. Okay, so this is a lot simpler way to do it. So you just need to remember 2 times the length times the width, plus 2 times the length times the height, plus 2 times the width from the height. Okay, so that way you can, instead of having to add up all those numbers, it's a little bit simpler. All right, so here is another example. All right, so what I'd like for you to do is on a piece of paper, I want you to practice writing it out so you can see what it's like to solve. So the formula again, surface area equals 2 times the length times the width plus 2 times the length times the height plus 2 times the width times the height. Oops, sorry, let me go back. All right, so in this case we have, so what we're gonna do is we're going to, here's your 2, so then we're gonna plug in the length and the width, right? So the length, that would be right here, which would be 5, right? 5 inches. Okay. Oops. Let's see if I can get the pen to work for me. All right, so this is your length, right? So 5, right? This is your width. So 3, right? So 2 times 5 times 3. And then you're going to do plus 2 times your length, right? Which again is 5 times your height. Here's your height. Okay. So that's times 2 plus 2 times your width, again, which is 3, and your height, right, which is 2. Okay, so we take all that and we multiply. So 2 times 5, okay, that would give me 10. And then 10 times 3 is going to give me 30, right? Then I'm going to go over here and I'm going to multiply this. So 2 times 5, right, gives me 10, right? Oops, 10 times 2 is going to give me 20, right? And then finally down here, the last one, 2 times 3 is 6, and 6 times 2 is going to give me 12. So that's where your 12 is, right? And then you're just going to take and you're going to add 30 plus 20, right, which gives me 50, and then 50 plus 12, which gives me 62. So all of this gives me 62. Because we're talking about area, right, it's measured in square inches. We learned that from our previous lesson, right? So the surface area is 62 square inches, which you could write out as IN squared, right? Okay, so if you have a calculator handy on a phone or a tablet, or if you have a physical calculator, or on your, if you have a computer that has has a calculator on it, you may use your calculator to help practice. That would be fine. All right, let me go ahead and we're going to move on to the next slide. Oops, and I didn't clear it. So let me use my eraser, clear all that. Okay. All right, so here we are. We're going to look at a different example. Okay. Here is another example that you could practice. I'm going to move this down. All right, so here it says to find the surface area of the rectangular prism. So here is our rectangular prism, right? So in this case, because all the lengths are the same, we've got 5, 5, and 5, right? So in this case, our length and our width and our height happen to all be the same. Okay, so again, I'm going to use my formula, right? So surface area S equals 2 times the length times the width plus 2 times the length times the height plus 2 times the width times the height. Okay, so you can practice this with me. So I'm going to plug in my numbers. So length, we got a 5, right? So I put in 5. Width, again is 5. So here's your 5. Length, right? 5 again. Height is 5 because they happen to all be 5 this time, right? And then, so then over here, 2 times the width times the height, I've filled in 5 as the width and then 5 as the height again. So once I've done that, let me see if I can get my pencil back. All right, so then I'm going to multiply again. So 2 times 5, I know that gives me 10, right? And then 10 times 5 is going to give me 50, right? And then again over here, so 2 times 5, I know gives me 10, and 10 times 5, I know gives me 50. And then again, this is going to be the same, right? So this is going to give me 50 again. And then I can just add up 50 plus 50 plus 50. And I know 50 plus 50 is 100. And 100 plus 50 gives me 150. So it's 150 centimeters squared. So let me write it out. I wasn't able to type it with using the square. So that's really what it should look like, right? 150 centimeters squared. Okay. All right, let me clear. All right, so we're gonna look at a couple problems here. I know they're numbered 4, 5, and 6 instead of 1, 2, and 3, but that was just where I got them from. So these 3 problems, all right, so these would be for you to try, okay? So I would like for you to give it a try, and then we're gonna go over them. Okay, so I'm gonna give you a little bit of time in order to do that. And all right, so what I'm gonna do, whoops, is I am going to, let me get my annotate mode back. Hold on. I'm going to write the formula here for you so you remember. So surface area equals S equals 2 times the length times the width plus 2 times the length times the height plus 2 times the width times the height. Okay, so that would be your formula, right, that you would be using. Okay, so go ahead and try problem number 4 here. In this case, as you can see, you've got all your length, your width, and your height are all 4s, right? So then you would just plug in, right, for length, width, and height, you would be plugging in 4 because in this case, right, they're all the same. So, right, so this is your length, this would be your width, right? Excuse me, and this would be your height. Whoops. Whoops. Sorry, I'm still getting used to how all these features work. So that would not be what I wanted. So then this is your height. Okay, so then you would just plug in your numbers. So go ahead and give 4 a try. Remember, so you're just going to be replacing your length is 4, right? Your width is going to be 4, right? And then your length again is 4. Your height is 4, right? Whoops. And then again, your width is 4, right? And your height is 4. So then all you need to do now is just multiply all these, right? And then add them. Okay. So go ahead and give that a try. You should get 2 times 4 is 8, right? 8 times 4 should give you 32, right? So 32 plus 32 plus 32, right? And then you would just add those 3 numbers up, right? 32 plus 32 plus 32. I'll give you a minute. All right, so hopefully you came out with 96, and it was yards, right? Squared, okay? And all right, here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna go ahead and clear all that, and we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna double check. Yep, here is our answer. So 2 times 4 times 4 plus 2 times 4 times 4 plus 2 times 4 to 4, which gave us 32 plus 32 plus 32, which gave us 96. So 96 square yards. Okay, so I want you to go back and try number 5 and number 6, and then we will check. Whoops, keep doing that by accident. We'll check those momentarily. So again, I'm going to write the formula here for you. Okay, so surface area equals 2 times your length times your width plus 2 times your length times your height plus 2 times your width times your height. I'm sorry about the sloppy handwriting. So I'm going to leave that up for you to practice for a few minutes, and then we will check them. All right, so let's go ahead and look, and I want you to check your answers. So here is problem number 5. So again, we're using surface area equals 2 times the length times the width plus 2 times the length times the height plus 2 times the width times the height. And if you go back, you can see that we had 4 meters, 4 meters, and 2 meters. So, right? So this was your length, right? So length and your width was also 4, and then your height was 2. So if you plugged all your numbers in, right? 2 times 4 times 4, right? Should give you 32, right? So 2 times 4 is 8. 8 times 4 is 32. So that gave me 32. And then 2 times 4 is 8. 8 times 2 gives me 16. And then again, 2 times 4 is 8. 8 times 2 gives me 16. And then I'm just going to add up 32 plus 16 plus 16, which should give me 64. So the surface area is 64 square meters, which you could write like this. This would show you square meters, right? Okay, so hopefully you got that one right. And then for number 6, I'm going to go back here for just a minute so we can look at the picture. So in this case, we had, again, we ended up with 8 as being our length, our width, and our height. So we filled that one in. So surface area, whoops, sorry. So your surface area equals 2 times your length times your width, right? Plus 2 times your length times your height, plus 2 times your width times your height. So again, okay, so if so right here, so I've replaced length with 8, width with 8, right? Length with 8, height with 8, and then width with 8 and height with 8, right? So then when I go to multiply, 2 times 8 times 8 should give me 128, right? And since it's the same numbers that we're multiplying, we're going to end up with 128 3 times, and then I'm going to add all 3 of those numbers up, and I should get 384. So the surface area would be 384 square centimeters, which we could write as 384 cm for centimeters, whoops, and then 2 to show it's squared. All right, so hopefully this helped. You can always go into iExcel and practice this, and then there are also the worksheets that you should have received in the mail that would also allow you to practice finding the surface area of rectangular prisms. So thank you guys, that's all I have for today, and I'll see you later.